I'll be honest, when I first came across your info and you were saying, this is the thing that is missing, and this is like the foundational piece, I was like, yeah, everybody says that their technique and their tool is the thing,
I know.
that is going to heal and all of that, and I'm like, I've tried them all, and what's different about this, and I'm just so glad that I kept, following and kept listening and kept an open mind until, I felt comfortable to join the 21 day. And this is different. Hi, my name is Crystal DiDomizio, and I live on Bowen Island, and I'm a mom of a 4-year-old, and I am certified as an EFT, emotional freer, as well as a childbirth educator and a doula. I'm really happy to be here with you.
The reason I brought Crystal on, for those of you watching, is how did you find me?
I think I found you through Facebook and your amazing videos and blog post articles, and I think I found you online and was just really drawn into your style of education and the amazing free content you put out there.
What I wanted to talk to you today about is you went through the 21-day nervous system tune-up. It's a mouthful. And I'd love to know a little bit about, where you were in your life when you found me, what was going on, why were you interested in this nervous system stuff?
So I think I was initially attracted to the nervous system stuff because I've been really passionate about nervous system health for probably the last 10 years at least. But my only method of that I knew about of working with the nervous system is like a wellness-based style of chiropractic care.
Okay.
And so when I heard you talking a lot about the nervous system, it really piqued my interest because I know that the nervous system is at the foundation of everything, really. And so to hear someone really passionate and really talking a lot about the nervous system from a perspective that I had never heard about it before, that's kind of what initially drew me in.
So what was going on specifically with your health? That kind of thing.
I was in a place in my life where I was really struggling with really severe anxiety, panic, and depression. And it was really frustrating for me to be in that place again because I had dealt with that in my past and completely healed it. And it had been years of me being free of adrenal fatigue, hormone imbalances, depression, anxiety, panic. And kind of seemingly out of the blue last summer, I became completely debilitated with it again for about 6 months, and which was really scary because it was around when my daughter turned 3 years old, and I wasn't able to care for her on my own anymore. I wasn't able to work anymore, and over the course of the 6 months that I wasn't able to function, I was trying every healing modality available.
That you knew of.
I'm a holistic nutritionist, and so is my husband. Like, we've got the nutrition set. I was doing all kinds of mind-body therapies, body work, like everything, like just approaching it from, top down, bottom up, and nothing was shifting for me.
Wow.
And so when I found the 21-day nervous system tune-up, and it was talking about working with the nervous system and how stress gets trapped in the nervous system and trauma gets trapped in the nervous system, I was like, wow, this is exactly what I feel like happened to me. It really felt like my system got to a place where it was so overloaded with previous traumas and stresses that it just completely shut down on me, and I wasn't able to function anymore. And I actually went around and asked some different practitioners about, like, I actually said that sort of thing. I was like, this is what I feel like happened to me. And no one knew what I was talking about. Like,
it's like you were an alien.
I wish someone had been able to say, oh yeah, like that's totally a thing. And here's something that you can do. And that's where I found you. And so the videos, I mean, your pre-videos, before even getting into the 21-day nervous system tune-up, like just your free videos that you put out and blog posts and things like that, I was like, it felt like you were speaking directly to me. And I was like, okay, I need to explore what this is. It was almost literally like I was stuck in freeze mode, and I couldn't get out of it. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah. And I think, this is such a common story, is we think that we've healed. Like you said, you had done all sorts of stuff, but then it's like the metaphorical earthquake hits our body, whether it's a stressful event, a trauma, etc. And then it shows that the foundations weren't actually laid in all that other work. So for you, like when you started the tune-up, the nervous system tune-up, do you remember what kind of turned the light bulb on? Like, was there something? Because I know that you registered, and then it took you a little bit to get back into it.
Yeah, when I initially registered, to be completely honest, I was actually in a place where I couldn't even do the daily emails. Like, even just reading and trying to watch a video, like, I was actually that unable to function. Like, I couldn't even, I just couldn't even, like, because once I did them later, it was like, oh, this is so simple. Like, you just read an email and you watch a video and you do these little practices. But I was in a place where that was even too much for me. But as I started to, I continued to consume the other things that you were putting out, like your other, videos and your other blog posts, and just like when I could, I would watch something. And I feel like that kind of helped to bring me to a place where I could actually say, okay, I'm ready to do this 21-day nervous system tune-up now. And then I was able to actually go through day by day and actually do it.
When people hear trauma, they're like, oh, I guess she was like beaten as a child and was left for dead. And I don't want to assume, because I actually don't know your history, but was that the case for you?
Because of what I do professionally, I know that some of the things that I experienced growing up as a child would be considered trauma, especially with the oh God, sorry, can I start that again?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, what was I going to say? Okay, so what I really liked is learning about Peter Levine's definition of trauma.
Yes.
Which is when your body goes into fight, flight, or freeze and doesn't have a chance to complete it.
Yep.
So when I look at my childhood from that perspective, there's actually quite a bit of trauma. Through that lens. So I haven't had a lot of the sort of major traumas that people think of when they think of trauma. I was raised in a loving family and I don't have like what most people think of when they think of trauma. That wasn't my childhood.
They think neglect and horrible abuse and all that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. And so for me it was really recognizing that trauma can be stored in the body when you go into fight, flight, or freeze and don't have a chance to complete it. And that can come from simple things as being raised in a family where, children are to be seen and not heard. Yeah. Which is just huge for my parents' generation. No judgment. That was what they did. That's what they did, and that's just what they did. And so just little things like that, or like, as a child, moments where maybe you felt really, really scared and you felt like you wanted to run or you felt like you wanted to fight, but you couldn't because children are, supposed to be good and quiet and not,
express.
So for me, learning, that definition was really powerful, and being able to look at, okay, so, this can help with all of those moments, which might seem like smaller, insignificant traumas, but to the nervous system, they're really huge.
It's equivalent, especially when they're happening every single day.
Yes.
Every single day for, until teenagehood.
Yeah.
When we leave the home, right?
Yeah.
So it accumulates. So I'm glad that we talked about that because it's not to say, those of you watching, that if, those that did have horrific abuse and neglect, it's the same. And I found even in my private practice, Crystal, it's trickier to work with the subtler ones because there isn't like that event that was, yeah, we almost died in a car crash with the whole family, or I remember the day when my mom was sick and died. Like those are very vivid events, whereas this more insidious chronic trauma is, you can't pinpoint it in the same way. So it's a little slipperier to work with, as one of my teachers would say.
And what I love about this tool and technique is that you don't have to know.
No.
You actually don't have to know what all those different things are. So as I am orienting daily and I'm following my impulses and I feel safe to like really feel what my body is feeling, whatever is stored in my system slowly starts bubbling up for it to be processed and released. And I don't actually have to know what it was. It doesn't matter. Right? Whereas with some of the other kind of trauma healing therapies, you really have to have like a memory. Like you've got to have a specific memory of this thing happened, which I actually don't have a lot of memories from my childhood, but I think my body has a lot of stored memory.
Definitely.
And so this has been really profound for me on that level of just, you know, the safer, going through the 21 days, the safer that my body and my nervous system feel, then slowly things start coming up to be, you know, processed. And for me, having been in a place where I was really overwhelmed, really shut down, really just not able to function at a basic level, I was actually afraid that the 21-day nervous system might actually be too much for me. Like it would be too stimulating or it would just bring up more things that I'd have to deal with and I couldn't deal with more at the time. And it wasn't like that at all. It was just really like, you know, slow and steady wins the race. Like it was really just very gentle, very gradual, which for me is sometimes frustrating because I'm like, let's go in and get it all done right away, like as fast and hard as we can, you know. And it was just such a great lesson in, you know, that's not how the nervous system works. The nervous system really needs to find a place of safety and to do this, you know, on a slower level. And it's so powerful, even though it is a slower and more gradual process.
And what was one of the biggest things that you learned from, I mean, I know there was so much, but is there something that really stands out? Because I remember once you said, because there's a private Facebook group just for the 21-day tune-up, I think you watched the Biology of Stress video number 4 about the vagus nerve and toxic stress. And you probably don't remember this, but you said that was worth the money of the course, just that one video. What was it, if you can remember, that really turned something on with that video?
When I watched, and I do remember that because it's still so strong in my mind. That there's a couple of training videos in there about the biology of stress that were worth their weight in gold. Like that alone was worth more than the cost of the course. Because for me, it explained so much of what I have struggled with my whole life. And it also really explained to me it's almost like those videos were able to articulate what I was feeling. So I was feeling something. But I wasn't able to articulate what it was. And then I watched the Biology of Stress training videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, you have just articulated my whole life, all of my health challenges, and also why parenting has actually been so triggering for me. I had done an incredible amount of healing before becoming a parent. I work with parents for a living. I actually work with trauma for a living. And I was still completely blown away by how much having your own child can actually trigger your own childhood trauma. And so while I had worked on a lot of these traumas previously, there's something about having a child and maybe their nervous system that maybe affects, you know, your nervous system, where it was actually triggering trauma and stress that is, I guess, stored at the nervous system level that hadn't been addressed yet. That trauma had been addressed on lots of different levels, but there was something about having a child and that was actually triggering for me the trauma that was still there at a nervous system level. And so my daughter is like my greatest teacher. And so for me, I really really value personal development and personal growth and everything. And wow, like what a journey the last 4 years of parenting has been for me.
Yeah.
And these tools that I learned in the 21-day nervous system tune-up have been so invaluable for me as a parent to be able to use them throughout my day to day. And I've also been able to use them with her to be able to pass on this knowledge and information and this way of being in the world to my 4-year-old.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, like I have goosebumps. Woo. Like, imagine if I had these tools when I was 4 years old.
What's one thing that you've done with your little one? Just even an example of how this has helped.
Yeah, I've got a great example. Maybe you know the proper terms or language for what I did, but we were in the car and we were driving, and my daughter was in the back strapped into her car seat. And there's something for her, which I actually want to take her to see someone for somatic experiencing, because there's something for her about being strapped in the car seat.
Yeah.
She panics if she gets hot or if something starts hurting in her body. And so we were driving along, and she's strapped into her car seat, and her tummy started hurting. And so she goes from like 0 to 100 and is just like screaming and panicking. Oh my God, my tummy hurts, my tummy hurts, my tummy hurts. And so I thought, while I'm driving, because I was somewhere that I actually couldn't pull over and stop to like get her out of the seat. So I was like, okay, what can I do with her? So I actually, I just said to her, I was like, Madison, it's safe to feel what your body is feeling right now. And I want you to feel like, where does your tummy hurt? And what does it look like? And does it have a shape, or does it have a color, or does it have a texture? And she was describing it for me. And then when it got really intense, I would say, okay, now I want you to pay attention to your foot. Can you tell me how your foot is feeling? And really feel your foot. And then she would go to her foot, and the intensity of the tummy would go away, go down. And so there's probably a word for this, but we kept going back and forth between her really feeling what was going on in her tummy and then feeling an area of her body that there wasn't pain or discomfort. And we went back and forth, and then it just totally dissipated. And I was just like, wow.
Awesome. Thumbs up.
Yeah, that was really amazing.
Cool. One question, in terms of, because now you are going further in your healing journey in this work. You're going to join us for the longer 12-week program, which I'm super excited about. But after you completed the 21 days, you started doing some private work in somatic experiencing. How has that influenced the one-on-one work that you are now doing?
So the 21-day nervous system tune-up felt like it was such a valuable foundation for me to really understand, what is this? How does it work? Why do I need to do it? And really start to feel some of the tools in my body and be able to use them on a daily basis. And then when I decided that I wanted to further my exploration with somatic experiencing, and I still had more healing to do. Still have healing to do.
We all do.
I decided to explore private sessions, and I really feel like my healing in the private sessions was really expedited because of the foundation that I had with the 21 days that I did with you. So even my first somatic experiencing session was so profound. Like, I had never felt so safe in my body after the first session. And then after a few weekly sessions, the depression and anxiety actually completely cleared, which is mind-boggling to me because I was so unable to function, and then to come back to a place where I can leave the house and I can care for my daughter and I can cook and I can feed myself, and just these normal day-to-day functions have just been amazing. And I feel like my experience with the private sessions would have been different without the foundation of the 21-day nervous system tune-up. I think it would have just taken a lot longer to reach where I am now because of that foundation. So that was really powerful for me to have done first. And I also agree with you, which you've said in some of your videos, where you think that it's really important that we understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and how it's being done, versus just show up and someone else is going to heal me. Like, the healing really comes from within, and the more that you can understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, I just feel like the healing just goes so much deeper and it's quicker.
If someone's watching this and they're like, oh, but Crystal looks so put together and she's, you know, how I know you'd laugh at that. It worked for her. How do I know it's going to work for me? If you had any heart-based words to tell someone anything who might be having doubts about...
This is actually going to make me cry.
Yeah, tears are fun.
Because the journey that I had of about 6 to 9 months of being totally unable to function was so hard for people to see from the outside because I'm really extroverted. So whenever I get in front of a camera or I get in front of people, I just light up. Right. And so I don't think anyone really realized the challenge that I was faced when I was at home. Like, it's hard for people to understand that, you know, that I would drop my daughter off at care and I would literally sit on the couch for 8 hours, unable to move, unable to feed myself, unable to leave the house, just panic attack after panic attack. And it's hard, you know, to imagine. It's hard to imagine that. And then, you know, if you see me or talk to me, it's like, really? Like, I was really not, it was bad. I love the description that somatic experiencing gives to depression and anxiety, where depression is like a complete sort of shutdown of the system and it's your body stuck in freeze mode, and that's exactly what it felt for me. And then the anxiety and panic felt for me like being stuck in kind of fight or flight mode, you know, like, and I had the combination of the two
at the same
which kind
time.
of rendered me just sort of frozen in the middle. And so I know for me, Irene, I'll be honest, when I first came across your info and you were saying, you know, this is the thing that is missing and this is like the foundational piece, I was like, everybody says that their technique and their tool is the thing, you know, that is going to heal and all of that. And I'm like, I've tried them all and what's different about this, you know, like, and I'm just so glad that I kept, you know, following and kept listening and kept an open mind until, you know, I felt comfortable to join the 21 day. And this is different. Like, personally and professionally, I've experienced just about every modality that there is out there. And spent like tens of thousands of dollars on healing over the course of my lifetime. And this is really, really foundational. I think that all those other tools and techniques are wonderful. And what I've actually found is that they're so much more effective now with the foundation of the nervous system functioning optimally than all the belief work and the different body work and the all the different release work and stuff like that. It actually is it's working better.
It's more effective.
It's more effective.
Even the nutrition side of things.
Yes, nutrition too.
Because your body is no longer in a survival mode, therefore it can actually suck up all that beautiful food that you're feeding it. Whereas when it's in chaos, it's like, it's like, nice try, but we're still struggling here, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I think anyone that's considering doing the program and isn't sure, I mean, I just wholeheartedly give my personal and professional recommendation that it's such a powerful foundation that I feel like everyone needs to have this knowledge going forward, regardless of what other healing modalities they want to experience. I just feel like there was an incredible amount of healing for me just, like I said, the course is just so valuable. Like, it's just, there's so many things I could say about it. There's so many different points, but the biology of stress videos were just, just even having that knowledge alone without even doing anything yet or changing anything yet, just woke up something in my system that was like, yes, like someone's listening. There is hope, you know, and I can keep going because I reached some really scary places in those 6 to 9 months. And it really gave me hope for like that there was something that actually could help, even when medication couldn't. Things had gotten so bad for me that I even tried medication when I live an extremely like natural,
like antidepressants,
lifestyle. Antidepressants, yes. And I'd taken them first when I was about 15 years old because that was the only thing that was offered to me at the time, and that kind of spurred my my
healing,
looking into all things natural healing, because I was like, this is strange. This can't be the only option. But I tried, and they didn't work. And I had to try them again this time because I was like, I'll do anything that will enable me to actually care for my daughter and be able to function again. The medication didn't help me again, and it's so, I mean, it's great for people too that have really explored all of their healing options, and they're still feeling like something's missing, and something's not working for them, and maybe they've even explored pharmaceuticals, and those aren't even helping them to be functional. This would be perfect for them.
Cool. Well, I am so grateful for you and all of the work you've done for yourself, and you're going to do this work with other people now.
Yes, I can't wait to take this work back to my clients. Like, it's also the missing piece because I do a lot of birth trauma healing work with women who have had difficult or disappointing birth experiences. And this really feels like the missing sort of piece for me of being able to go to those points in their birth where they might have gone into fight, flight, or freeze and not been able to actually complete it.
Yes.
I mean,
ooh, I just got goosebumps.
Really powerful.
I just got goosebumps you telling me that. I'm so excited for you. Oh, so good to meet you. Thank you
for all the work that you're doing.
Oh, you are welcome. And I'm sure we'll meet in person one day very soon.
Yes.
Cool.
Thanks, Irene.
Thank you. Bye, Crystal.